I am in fact live. Thank you so much, Logan. And I'm very happy to confirm that my chat is also working. Now, against my expectations, it turns out that we do in fact have The Walking Dead 2 installed, so you don't even need to wait. So let me just take a second here. The Walking Dead Season 2 with 9 viewers. So for those of you who are just here for Super Hot, apologies. We are done with that for today. But for those of you who would like to watch The Walking Dead, we will be doing at least one episode of that. And just a reminder for those of you, there may have been a donation in the time. Let me see. I should be able to get a confirmation on that. Bop. Jess has her magic that shows that, but I don't. All right, screw it. This is going to take me a minute to set up the game, and then we will do at least one episode of Walking Dead 2. You won't be able to see the game for the next little bit. I need to set up all the who's and what's its and the hoo-has. Oh, you know what? I probably should have done 400 Days first. The prequel. Subtitles on. Are there resolution settings? You can do it, game. I believe in you. All right, I think we've got it. It's going to cause a little frustration. All right, here we go. Just going to add it to OBS and we should be good to go. How was the game to voice volume, by the way? I thought the game might have been a little loud, but I'm always paranoid about stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, the music definitely is coming in a bit hot. I don't know. How's that? The game menu is just below my voice? Okay, excellent. Hopefully, this takes all the choices I made before. All that remains. Start episode 1. Important Season 1 save. Season 2 of The Walking Dead builds off Season 1's choices and consequences. The game will now automatically search your system for Season 1 save file with completed episodes. Okay. Save file found. A Season 1 save file was found. You will now need to choose a save slot from Season 1 to continue your story. Choices will be randomly generated for any unfinished episodes.
Previously on The Walking Dead. What's your name?
I'm Clementine.
You've been all by yourself through this?
I know who you are, and I know you're a killer. It's how the world works now!
Lee, are those bad people dead?
I hope you know what you're doing with her.
I got it. Molly said Crawford is the only place left in Savannah that still has people. That means it must be where my mom and dad are.
Okay, you can come, but you have to promise to stay quiet. Clementine? Clementine! No. No.
I know how to be a dad, you know. She wouldn't be exposed to what she has been with you.
Lee, I saw my parents.
It's a good thing. You could leave me. It's okay.
You can come with me.
No, honey. I can't. It's okay. Don't meet it, Krista.
Select the pistol, then select Lee.
What do you think?
Oh, Mead, you can't be serious.
I am.
We are not doing that.
Why not?
Because.
Come on, Krista. What's wrong with Omid?
We're not calling our baby Omid. One of you is enough. Clementine, a little help here?
Omid the second.
No.
Omid Jr.
No.
You have to admit it has a ring to it.
What if it's a girl?
Then we name her Krista.
But I'm Krista. I don't want to call her Krista. That's just confusing.
So name her Genevieve. I don't care.
How can you not care? You're not taking this seriously.
I take everything seriously. Especially little Omid's future.
Keep talking, and you'll be sleeping in the rain tonight. Remember that time in Barstow?
Vegas weekend? Why don't you,
Wrong bathroom, lady!
girls' room, Clem?
I hope the sink works in there.
I wouldn't count on it. Just be careful and make sure to keep track of your things. We'll be right next door.
Oh, wait a minute. They're gonna do it, aren't they?
Hello?
Make sure the bathroom is safe. Use WASD to walk and the mouse around to look. Looks pretty safe to me. Now, who would just go break a toilet like that?
What's that?
The zombie hand reaches out of the toilet.
Good. No one's here. Guess it's safe to get cleaned up.
Aren't these better than the Rome mirrors, Jess?
Please have water. Figures.
Oh my god, she's waterboarding herself. It ain't clean anymore.
Ew.
I see you. Get out of there. You're not fooling me.
Leave me alone.
Don't think I will.
Why not?
Are you stupid or something? Get out here. You got anything on you? Come on, let's see.
What's your name?
My name? Why do you care?
I was just wondering.
Stupid. I'm serious. What else you got?
That's it.
Don't lie to me. I'll pop you. Give me what you got. I'm not screwing around. Come on.
Please stop.
Give me that hat.
No.
Where'd you get it? I asked you a question.
My dad gave it to me.
Just give it to me.
See, the fact that she just wants to take anything suggests to me that she doesn't actually know what she's
Junk,
doing.
Junk. Look at all this junk. Shit, and more shit. Why you ain't got nothing good? Not like the last people I got. They had all kinds of good shit. That was a good catch. You ain't got nothing good. You just a little fish. You gonna cry, little fish? This your daddy? What a bozo.
She's a pretty good shot, all told.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
Oh God. Homie, can you hear me? Homie.
Must suck that if the majority of players kill your character in the old game, you know you die in the the opening scene.
Krista, talk to me.
She's not pregnant anymore. Is that the baby on this bit?
This will never work. Look at this. It's pathetic. The wood's too wet to burn. It's more smoke than flame. At this rate, we'll be eating this for breakfast.
What else can we do?
Find something that'll burn, maybe. I don't know. Won't be easy in the dark and in the rain. You should be doing this, not me. Tending a fire so you can cook and stay warm. It's something you have to be able to do, Clementine. Otherwise...
We need to find a group. People we can trust. We've been on our own for too long.
Trust? You think you can trust someone out here? Not now. Not anymore.
I'm freezing.
You think this is bad? Wait till we get up to Wellington. Then talk to me about cold. If we make
These are like people who I...
We still have a couple hard months ahead of us. This
But-
rain will turn to sleet, then ice, then snow. It won't be easy.
Is it safe there?
Safer than here because of the cold, or so they say. We just need to keep moving north. I'm gonna go look for more wood. You just keep the fire lit.
I was gonna say the cold lines that she was saying remind me of everybody who was in Ottawa when I first moved there. It's like, oh, it's not even cold now. It's just gonna get super colder later. It was like later never came. Part of that is due to the winter gear that Jess gave me. I could pick up the lighter, but I could pick up something else if the game would let me. I really like the jacket that she got me. Just in general, like I like it because it's warm, but also the way that it looks. She also got me some long underwear, and I particularly appreciate the long underwear because when I put it on, it makes my bulge just like that much more accentuated. So all in all, very good. Press and hold the left mouse button to flick the lighter, then push the mouse to or use the movement. Oh, the lighter mini game. Like, especially because I have like underwear on first and then I put the long underwear on. So like,
Flames are too low.
no, but she did get me gloves that would allow me to check my phone.
Burn.
So, which is obviously very important because God forbid I ever have a
Never
waking
come.
second without looking at without looking at a digital device.
This might burn.
Yes, Clementine, that is a log. Traditionally, one puts that on the fire. Well done. I guess they want me to look for more.
This'll never burn. It's too wet.
I guess that means I wouldn't be good at witch burning, eh, guys? Eh? Cause all the lady... Never mind. Oh. Now I get it. Are they gonna make me burn the drawing?
Don't fucking lie to us. Who do you think you're fooling? Give us the truth and you don't get hurt. Fucking with me? Where's the rest of your group?
I'm by myself.
Bullshit. She's lying. Cut the shit, lady.
It's just me.
Come on, guys. What the fuck?
Krista, run!
Hey! Get the fuck over here! Now! Fucker. Come out here, girl. I'm not fucking around. Shit! Get the fuck over here! God damn it! Oh, whoa!
Poke him!
Jesus, are you fucking kidding me?
Leave me
Stop
alone!
fucking running! You're squirming! Oh, fuck! Ow! Ow! Let go, you little bitch! Jesus!
Take his hand off!
Come out of there! Ow! Ow, fuck! Jesus, are you fucking kidding me?
Is that the only line you know how to deliver, you hillbilly?
You were on my last fucking nerve!
I'll bite through that too!
Chicken!
God, this is a great way to start an episode. That female sleeve? I'm not sure what you mean, Jess. Oh. You want to become a lesbian, that's what you mean.
Hello?
I'm sorry, that was probably a little too inappropriate for cast. That's a cool idea. I feel like you must have mentioned that on cast at some point, but I don't recall it. So that's a really strong ope. So obviously there's the scene with Omid, which is just sort of I hate to say it, but something like a death of a character like that almost seems like par for the course for stories like this. And I never really connected that much with Omid. But like a sequence like that one, especially because everybody cares about Clementine, right? Like that was definitely one that was a lot more invested in. Also, like that new Lady Jedi, right? Like Kylo Ren. Okay, so apparently I gotta find some way to get to the Really? Out of all of the... I thought you would have gone for like... Oh, wait. That's Leia that you're referring to, right? I haven't seen the new Star Wars, I should say. Or, well, the old new Star Wars.
Krista, are you there?
So all the stories that I've heard of Eyes of Sin's X must mean that any future paramour has just got to feel like completely without hope. They're like uber mentioned, 10 feet tall, shock of blonde hair. Not helping Sin. By the way, Jess, did I mention that I'm over 6 feet tall?
It's okay, boy. It's okay. So, where are your owners? They around? If they are, I hope they're nice. What's he doing? Hey, what'd you find, boy? Where are you going? Wait up!
Hey, that applies with me, MC. 6'2".
Looks pretty run
And
over.
that's 2
But
measurements.
you never know. Let's look around for some food. Looks like it's been here for a while.
The two I was referring to was both hands!
Looks like they were a happy family once. I hope they left some food behind somewhere.
Yes, that's right, Clementine. Don't worry about those poor people who might be dead.
Nothing
This is my
ever.
first playthrough, MC. I did play through the first one, though.
No food here either.
Well, we're eating the dog.
Hey boy, what's the matter? Shh, we have to be quiet. Yuck.
Don't they call them frisbees in the States?
Hey, wanna play? Wanna play catch?
Shh.
Fine, it's your decision. Do what you think is right. It's not much of a tent anymore. I bet scavengers tore it apart.
Maybe it was the dog, Clementine.
Think anyone's been sleeping in here? I can't tell.
Oh. Well, I mean, I think Kleenex and Band-Aid, you'd be able to use it then because they're not,
Hey,
I know there's
wanna
some
play?
that...
Wanna play catch?
Throw it!
Fine, it's your decision. Do what you think is right.
There are some brands which no longer are able to be, like, to have their copyrights because they've just since come into common usage. I don't know if Band-Aids hit that or not. But I remember, like, so originally it was called duct tape. And it is now, there's now one called duct tape. Because duct tape
okay.
wound up being
He's
something
dead.
that they couldn't register.
Look, you can see the bite. Looks like he tried to cut it out. It's okay. We're smart, and he's not. We're smarter than all of them. Hey, it's okay, boy. Shh. He can't hurt us. Think he had himself tied up? Or did someone force him to do this? That looks like it hurt.
Why am I doing this? Ah, there we go.
Stand back, okay?
Oh no, you're gonna have to do that way more, Clementine. Once more with feeling. Ah, gotta put your back into it. And like make sure the walker cries. And remember that this is probably happening to Lee at some point.
See? We just have to stay out of their reach. sharp. At least we found something useful. We won't go another night without food, okay?
Well, one of us won't. ... Dot dot dot.
Please let there be something good in there. Ugh, God. No food on the grill, nothing in the cooler. Ugh, I hate scavengers. They take everything. Hey, wanna play? Wanna play catch?
That frisbee went through her legs.
Okay, bring it back. Good boy, good boy.
It's like a stack of those things back there, or does the dog
Wanna go
teleport?
again? I bet you miss this. I sure do.
How many times do we need to throw the frisbee to bond with the
Let's go
dog
one more time.
so that it
Go get
never
it, boy.
leaves us? Well, geez, Clem,
Darn.
you made it sad.
It was good while it lasted, though, right? Yeah, you're right. Shouldn't waste the energy anyway. Gotta check everywhere.
I would never want to belong to any club.
Young Penny,
Someone like me.
9,358th of their name. Thank you very much for the follow.
Well, here we go. Oh my God. Thank you. Look, a can. Let's see what's inside.
Is there gonna be like that knife mini game like in Full Throttle where you try to put it between
These
your
might
fingers?
be bad.
My beans!
Thank God.
Frank's gonna be pretty upset.
I guess you were pretty hungry too. Here you go. Hey, don't eat it all.
Alright, I am mighty fond of a game that you repeatedly punch a dog in the face over. That's a nice turn. Like, I even knew that was gonna happen, and... Oh, they even make you do it.
I'm sorry.
See, this is the funny thing. I did not feel nearly as bad about that as you did, Jess. Because like my view is always, look, if it's a savage animal, like it is. Oh, come on, eat the rest of your beans, lady. That dog didn't die in vain. It's just one of these points. It's the same way that I don't know, like if somebody I knew were in danger and it was genuinely a life or death thing, like I don't think, you know, I'm not one of the absolutists to say that, you know, like, human life is sacred in all respects. Like I would definitely be willing to put down someone if it meant that it would prevent you know, if it would prevent that happening to another. So I mean, for an animal, it's almost nothing. Like, don't get me wrong, dogs are super cute and all, but I didn't feel as torn up about that as you did. Ah, gotcha. Well, I'm pushing shift.
I'm out. Grab her. Let's go.
Come on, kid. We gotta get.
We gotta get.
I think we're safe.
Yeah, we're good. Hey, you all right?
I'm fine. Just let me be.
Oh, was that so? 'Cause last time I saw you, you could barely crawl away from that lurker back there. Look, you're in bad shape, kid.
What are you doing out here?
Where are the people you're with? There's no chance you made it this long on your own.
I don't want them thinking we're doing anything but trying to help you.
I'm alone. Everyone I know is gone. It's just me now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I just lost a sister. We've all lost folks.
You know, Chris is probably gonna come back.
Well,
No.
I'm Luke. And this is Pete.
Hey there.
Hi. I'm Clementine.
It's nice to meet you, Clementine. And for now, we're gonna take you back to our group. Okay, we got a doctor with us, and you look like you could use some. Oh shit!
What? What is it?
She's been bit, man. Fuck. What are we gonna do here?
No, it was a dog.
I didn't see any dog, Clementine.
Come on, kid. We just saw you with those lurkers back there.
No, just look at it, please.
Yeah, and have you sink your teeth into Pete's neck? No way.
My neck? Why am I the one?
Because I don't know a dog bite from a mosquito bite from a lurker bite, man.
It's not.
I have played The Wolf Among Us. That was actually one of the first games I played on
All right.
cast.
Let's see it.
Whoa, 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 hey, watch yourself. Hey, don't look at me like that. You're the one that's bit here, okay?
See?
Is it like she says?
Well, could be a dog. Hard to say. So where'd this dog go? The one that did this.
Now, what does that matter, Pete? Seriously.
I killed it.
What? Really? A dog shows up and bites you and you just kill it?
What would you have done?
I don't know.
It attacked me.
Still, you don't kill dogs.
Clementine,
Yes?
you telling us the truth? You look me in the eyes when you answer.
Yes.
All right, Clementine. That's good enough for me.
Well, what else was she gonna say?
I've got a good bullshit detector, Luke. That's why you can never beat me at poker.
You don't always beat me at. Alright, how can you be sure?
Well, I'm sure I ain't willing to leave a little girl in the woods to die when we got a doctor with us that can make a call. We can have Carlos take a look at it first.
Nick ain't gonna like this. Not with what happened.
You don't have to remind me of that, boy.
Right. Sorry, sir.
Dude in the green is
Come on.
definitely on top.
Clementine, are you feeling all right?
I'm fine. Just tired.
Well, you better be fine. Because I ain't carrying you anymore with that bite on your arm.
Don't worry about...
Oh, shit.
For all we know, she could be working with Carver.
She told us that she was out there hit by a dog.
What? And you just believed her? You should have put her out of her misery right there. Dog bite my ass.
I need a dog...
Keep your finger off the trigger, boy.
Whoa! Whoa! What the
You
fuck?
idiot! Every lurker for 5 miles probably heard
You're the one
that.
telling me to fucking shoot her.
Everybody just calm down for a second.
Clementine, you okay?
I just need a doctor. And then I'll go. I don't want my arm to get infected.
None of us want to get infected. That's the point.
We got a doctor right here, okay? He'll have a look. Now what the hell is wrong with you people? Okay, she's just scared.
We're all scared, Luke. Don't act like we're the ones being irrational because we don't buy this bullshit story.
No way she survived out here on her own. Why are we even arguing about this?
Let me take a look.
It's okay. Go ahead, he's a doctor. Damn, that must have hurt.
Whatever it was, it got you good.
This
This is
isn't
a
how we do things.
lurker doctor.
When you're
Or
bitten,
lurker
you get
dog.
put down. End of story. I'm not going through this again.
No one's suggesting that.
We could take her arm off. I know that worked for a cousin down in Ainsworth. We could try that.
It won't do any good. You'll just be making it worse for the girl.
It's crazy. No one's going to volunteer to do that.
I would.
I'm just a little girl. I'm not gonna hurt anyone. I promise you, it was just a dog bite. That's all it was.
We'll know soon enough, young lady.
Who's she?
Sarah, What I say, stay inside.
I don't mean to be any trouble. I just want to stop the bleeding, and then I'll go. You'll never see me again, I promise.
And where exactly would you go?
To find help somewhere else if I can.
I understand you're scared. And I feel terrible delaying treatment. But we've got to be sure.
So, what do you think? Was it a lurker?
A bite like that could be anything. Only one way to find out.
How?
We wait.
What?
By tomorrow morning, if the fever set in, we'll know if she's gonna turn. In the meantime, we can lock her in the shed.
What about my arm? It needs to get cleaned and stitched and bandaged.
The girl is in bad shape, Carlos.
We have all that stuff inside the cabin. We could probably get by with
Alvin,
it.
please.
But yeah, we can't do nothing.
I'm not wasting supplies on a lurker bite. If it turns out you're telling the truth, I'll clean it and stitch it up for you in the morning.
But...
I'm sorry. It's the best we're gonna get.
Finger off the trigger, son.
I ain't your son.
Don't be like that, man.
It's all right. Boy's got his mom's temper.
Come on.
So I already don't like these survivors at all.
This is just a waste of time. You'll see. And when she turns, I ain't gonna be the one cleaning up the shit.
Look, hold out the best you can, Clementine, and we'll see what's what in the morning.
That gun's moving on its own. No wonder it fired so quickly.
Why are we doing this? Fucking dumb. Because it's safer this way, and I'd rather be sure.
I can't believe this. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine.
Sorry guys, just one quick second. Okay.
Not much left in here. I guess if I have to, I can use this for stitches.
Awesome. Now get a fishing hook, Clem. Can you vice wounds shut? I mean, Jess, you did like med stuff, right? Stop. Hammer time.
stitches.
Find the weak one. Oop. And appeal to their gullibility.
Ow. I think it's getting worse. Come on.
I sort of like how they always cut back to the walkers just as a means of kind of giving you a sense of urgency. So that's not the window I'm going into. Hello, Trippy Tube. How are you doing?
Of course.
I can't go to the window where people are talking, right? But it's the only one that's different from all the others. So I'm just gonna bang it with a hammer and I should be okay.
It makes me feel like a fucking idiot when we're not on the same page.
We are on the same page.
Not out there, we weren't. Not about the girl. I saw you get soft.
What do you want me to do, Beck? Put a bullet in her?
I want you to think about our family first.
It's all I think about. So don't give me shit.
I'm the mayor.
So Trippy Tube, this is season 2. I did play the original the season 1 game. This is a continuation of that save.
I need your help.
Me? No. I'm sorry, but I can't do nothing.
Please. I need to fix my arm.
Are you out of your mind? Even if you ain't bitten by some lurker, which you probably are, you can't be here. You gotta get out of here, you understand? Get back into that shed and Carlos will take care of you in the morning.
I can tell that you're nice.
I ain't nice.
Yes, you are.
Don't you do that. I see what you're doing. I'm serious. You need to get out of here.
I saw when everyone was arguing. You wanted to help.
You didn't see anything. Look, you gotta get out of here before my wife finds you. I'm serious. You gotta go. I got enough problems already.
Please help. Please.
Don't cry.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm just tired.
You're not with Carver.
No.
And you didn't get bit by a dead person.
No. I won't forget that you helped me.
I bet you won't.
Promise.
I'm screwed if anyone finds out I did this. You understand?
The cut on my arm needs to be cleaned and stitched.
Stitch? I ain't doing that.
I'll figure it out on my own.
Alright, look. I don't know what I can find. We're short on bandages, but I might be able to find something clean that will work.
I need something to clean it out with. And a needle and thread could help too.
I don't even know where to look. Carlos has medical supplies on lockdown. We don't got much these days.
Well, whatever you can get. I'll find the rest on my own.
Okay, wait here.
And then he brings the rest of the group. That's how I'd handle it.
I found you some bandages. And I got you a juice box in case you're thirsty.
Oh, that's really nice of him.
Thank you.
Alvin, house meeting in 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, thanks. Now you need to go.
I'm not quite sure how I feel about the fact. So in this game, like if I move, so here's an example. I'm gonna put the mouse on the window, and as you move, it kind of keeps the mouse. It sort of seems like it's going over it, but it's a neat effect. But it seems to have no. Doesn't really have a lot of utility, I find. It moves the. It basically moves. It moves it away from the thing that I want, so. The juice box ferment and use it as alcohol to clean the wound. Could be worse. Hammer time. Sacre bleu. Just once there should be evil eyes looking at you.
Well, Luke has more to say, I guess. Where's Sarah?
She's got her book. She doesn't need to be a part of this.
Somebody. There's no way she's out here by herself.
She said she's out here alone.
Yeah, right.
Whoever she's with, they'll probably come looking for her.
Great. They show up and we've got her locked in the shed.
You think you could bring her in here? No, I'm just saying it wouldn't look too good. It's just at the trust in our imagine. Anyone else would do the same.
You really think Carver would come after us?
You think he wouldn't?
He's not exactly the type to let things lie.
What happened, happened. There's nothing we can do about it now.
Let it come. I really don't give a damn. What? I don't.
It seems like the game's pushing me away from that, so. I thought this is where I came from, so. I guess that wasn't so helpful. I feel like I missed something in there. Okay, well, it doesn't let me go any further. Yes, this is like my only option.
What are you supposed to do? Huh? Leave her out there to die?
Better her than us. You'd have done the same.
It wasn't the brightest idea. Oh, firing your rifle was, huh? Next time we
Alright. I don't think there's any more information I'm going to get out of that, so. That was not worth losing the knife for. I have to be missing something obvious. I think I've already explored up here, but I'll just double check, 'cause I'm sort of at the point where... So, like, my assumption here would be there's some kind of, like, a ladder on the outside that... By the way, I've never been in a house where there is actually a ladder to the roof, but that's another matter. Like, unless there's something down here that I'm missing, it seems like there's, you know, there's, like, rooms higher up that I should be trying to access, and I'll do one more circuit. I'll maybe like go in the house one more time, and then we'll see what's... Yeah, apparently I'm just too dumb for these games. I think at this point we're gonna have to do MC's plan because of the like the time it's gonna take me on this. We'll have a fermented juice box. Okay. Oh, hang on. There looks like there's something I can touch. There's obviously a staircase there. Oh, there we go. I feel like I tried to get there before, and I'm assuming I just wound up walking into the... walking into some of the furniture.
It's clean.
What
I'll
is...
still need something to keep it from getting infected.
There's a walker inside.
They have to have medical supplies around here somewhere.
Aloe vera, right? Fixes everything. Occupied.
Just need to have this baby.
Now, where can I find a towel?
It'll be okay. Let it be his.
Actually, I like good horror movies. I had some friends who are like super into slasher movies, and I cannot stand I can't stand bad ones. Like, I can't stand campy or otherwise, like... So, my opinion's always been that, that horror is a little bit like science fiction, but for practical effects. So, like, you get a big... That's a nice surprise.
You're not supposed to be in here.
Don't tell anyone, or else...
please help me? I'm not supposed to talk to you. My dad can't know. What are you reading? A book? What book? I like books. It's called The Gurgles. It's about transdimensional body snatchers. Cool. What happened to you? A dog bit me. Sounds scary. I bet it hurts. You want to see it? It really wasn't one of them. It really wasn't. Okay. Ew, gross. I know, right? You have to bandage it, like my dad does. Yeah, I know. Help me. I just need something to clean it with. I bet it would be with the rest of your medical supplies. Yeah, it is. I'll help you. Good. Thank you. I'm Sarah. I'm Clementine. We're friends, right? We can be best friends. I haven't met another girl my age since way before. It's hard to be the only girl, you know? Rebecca's okay, but she's old. And that's it. Yes, we are friends. Promise? It's important. Friends have to trust each other, no matter what. I promise. Me too. Friends. A pinky swears forever.
I am gonna feed you to the walkers the first chance I get.
Uses when I get a cut. Let me look around. I think this is it. That'll work. You can't do it here, though. Someone will find you. Don't worry, I won't. Thanks, Sarah.
Don't you shh me.
Okay.
Friendship is forever.
Safer to do this.
This, I don't know if I can get away with doing it in the bathroom, but I'd feel a hell of a lot better if I could. But yeah, so like, I really do feel that horror is to practical effects what science fiction is to CGI. So you just get this dumping ground of like plotless nonsense that just serves as a vehicle to like come up with a new way to like chop off somebody's eyeball or, you know, or show like a compound fracture or something like that. And it's like, I don't like it when it's sci-fi. I don't like when it's horror. And yet you also get you get movies like Jacob's Ladder, which is just outstanding, or, you know, The Shining. And you really do see how... Okay, so there's no benefit to me actually taking the watch, though. Like, that's just going to piss people... I mean, obviously I've already pissed people off with the medical supplies, but I can justify that. Like, why would I rob them? Global Menace, a game of global consternation. I love this title. But yeah, and I mean, likewise with, you know, science fiction. You know, you can get Star Wars, for example, or you can get The Fountain. No, Star Wars is actually pretty fun. But no, like there's no shortage of perfectly forgettable science fiction out there. And then you get stuff like Minority Report and Blade Runner. And it's, I suppose in this case, like I always just take there's plenty of time for me to watch lots of good movies. I have no shortage of them. But I don't know. I definitely have been very disappointed with horror. And I think probably some of this just comes down to the kinds of friends that I have. Do you know that Minority Report and Blade Runner, the original stories, are by the same author, Sin? All right, peroxide, not the juice. Peroxide, not the juice. Peroxide, not the... Ah, damn it, I missed it.
This is gonna suck.
I actually love the idea of her. I love the idea of her just like taking the juice box in between, like stitching things up. Ah!
Okay, I'm good. I'm fine. Now the fun part.
No minigame? We'd be here all night.
No. Just like last time. Just how Krista showed me.
The Fifth Element is a ridiculous movie, and yet I really enjoy it. I absolutely love that they make you do this the whole time. This is horrifying. Oh, it's amazing, Trippy Tube. I have to assume the team was just getting together. It's like, they're not gonna fucking believe this. This is horrifying. Oh shit, it's the wrong arm! You know what, you get yourself a juice after that. Well, that ain't clean anymore. Impale him on the anchor! That's not enough? Stop. Hammer time. You have got an unusually large head, sir. It is an easy target.
Holy shit. What the? How the hell did it get in here?
Little girl's tough as nails.
Are you all right?
I'm still not bitten. I never was. And you left me out here to die.
You patched yourself up? Where'd you get that
Did
stuff?
she steal from us?
This doesn't change a thing. She hasn't done anything to us.
Says the man not carrying a baby.
You left me no choice.
You could have just left.
Relax, Rebecca.
Bring her in, and I'll take a look at her arm.
Damn lurkers sneaking around out here. We better get inside.
You hungry?
Attaboy, Clem. Or girl.
This might hurt a little.
How's she look?
Her suturing skills need some work, but otherwise, I say she should be fine.
So, it wasn't a lurker bite?
If it was, the fever would have already set in, and her temperature would be through the roof.
I think that's a rifle, MC, but I like where your head's at.
I wish you wouldn't have done what you did.
What do you mean?
You manipulated my daughter.
I asked for her help.
She's not someone you can just ask for help. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but there are a few things you need to know about my daughter.
Okay.
She isn't like you. You may not get that initially, but once you're around her for a while, you'll understand. If she knew how bad the world is, what it's really like out there, she would cease to function. She's my little girl. She's all I have left, and I would ask that you stay away from her.
She needs to grow up sometime.
You do not know what she needs. Rebecca was worried you might be working with someone else, that your being here was no accident. I guess we'll find out. But one thing I know for sure, you are not to be trusted. Stay away from my daughter.
That's a really nice tension that they create, because obviously
Hey, brought you some food if you're hungry.
the daughter is a very likable character, and obviously
That's gonna leave one hell of a scar.
to create that conflict between the
Yeah. You know, I get it. You're pissed that we locked you up, and I'm sorry.
Why is it all the assholes showing up? You made your choices. I'm not gonna make it easier on you now.
I just want to say I'm sorry for being a dick out there.
For almost shooting me is the words.
That was definitely not cool.
Nick's been known to go off every once in a while. Don't hold it against him.
Yeah, I guess we all have our moments.
You definitely had one out there.
You were way out of line. You shouldn't have pointed that gun at me. I was hurt and needed help, and that's how you treat me?
I was just...
I know what you were trying to do, but that doesn't make it right. I could have died because of you.
Whatever.
Dynamite, thank you very much for the auto host, and welcome to everybody from Dynamite's channel.
Look, he means well. He just loses it sometimes.
I try to avoid crazy people as much as possible.
So, since you're pretty much on your own, what's your plan?
I don't know. I'm kind of on my own now.
Well, you're welcome to stay here if you want. Okay, let yourself heal up. Take some time to sort things out.
Do you think everyone else will be okay with it?
They'll just have to deal with it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, MC.
So, what happened to your parents? If you don't mind me asking. I mean, I assume what happened to them is what happened to just about everyone's parents. You're just so young. Didn't think you could have made it on your own for so long, but maybe you did.
Other people took care of me, if that's what you're asking.
I was just curious on how you made it this far.
I just tried to stay with good people and not do anything dumb.
Hey, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked.
My parents went on vacation and left me with a babysitter. And they never came back. We went to Savannah to find them, but they were already dead.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
This man found me and took care of me. We met up with other survivors and we all tried to make it. But it didn't work. His name was Lee. He taught me how to survive. He taught me how to shoot a gun.
What happened to him? You know what? It's okay. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want.
I hate to interrupt, but I'm out there standing watch and I can't help but notice this place is lit up like a goddamn beacon in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, it's time to turn in anyways.
Now get your winks while you can, because we're going fishing at first light. Couple fresh brookies for dinner? Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, you're still here.
So, what color do you think the baby's skin is gonna be?
I wouldn't get comfortable if I were you. Maybe you fooled everyone else, but not me.
Don't talk to me like that.
For what? You can't pull some shit on me. I'm not my husband.
You should watch your language if you're going to be a mom.
You should watch your ass if you know what's good for you.
I just needed some help.
Well, you got it. Now go.
It is probably
Stay
best
the hell away from my husband.
not to give her a reason to want to
Whatever.
have me expelled.
How you holding up? I heard you got an earful from Rebecca last night. Once she gets going, there's no bringing her back. Her bark's worse than her bite.
What's her problem?
Yeah, she's got a lot on her mind lately. Bringing a baby into a world like this.
How far are these fish traps?
It ain't much further. Anyone teach you how to shoot? By that I mean taught proper. Any idiot with a finger can shoot.
Yeah, but not a rifle.
Well, that makes sense. Less kick. This thing would probably knock you on your ass.
Language!
Nick was about your age, first time I took him hunting. Came across this beautiful 13-point buck just standing there on the ridgeline. The boy takes the rifle, he lines up the shot just like I taught him, and then I hear him start whining. He turns to me and he says, "I can't do it. I can't shoot it, Uncle Pete. Please don't make me shoot it."
Oh, that's sad.
Hey! Why didn't you wait?
You want us standing around while you piss on a tree? You know where the river is, boy. Anyway, So I grabbed the gun out of his hand before the big buck runs off, when bang, the gun fires. Boy nearly gut shot me, and of course the buck gets away.
What are you going and telling her this shit for?
'Cause you almost blew her face off yesterday. Seems relevant. Trying to let her know it's nothing personal with you.
Why are you always giving me a hard time?
Because you're always giving everyone else a hard time.
I tried to apologize already. She ain't having it.
Well, can you blame her?
I want to hear the rest of the story.
You're always trying to embarrass me.
You're doing a good enough job of that on your own. Leaving us again.
I know where the fucking river is.
Not a bad reply.
So anyway, I found that buck later that season. Shot it right in the neck. Brought it up to my sister's figuring she'd want to freeze some of the meat. Nick didn't speak to me for weeks. Sometimes you gotta play a role. Even if it means people you love hate you for it.
I hear you, sir.
He doesn't hate you.
Nick's father wasn't there much, and he was a piece of shit when he was. So it fell to me to keep him in line, raise him right. Meant I couldn't just be nice Uncle Pete.
How you doing, Betazyne?
Uncle Pete!
Nick!
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
That last zombie looked like it saw something really surprising.
Full of holes.
Who do you think did this?
Not sure yet, but it ain't your average gang of thugs, that much I know.
Think about it. You're Carver, what do you do?
Who's Carver?
Check those guys there. Be careful. Some of them might still be moving.
What can I do?
See if you can find anything else.
Like what?
Like what might tell us who did this.
Glad to hear you're doing well. We're kind of in overtime now. We've
Shot too.
Through the head?
Yeah.
Check the rest. And look for ammo. We're running low.
we finished Super Hot, and then thought we'd get at least an episode of The Walking Dead in, courtesy of Jesse Quill.
Can I help?
I got it.
See, told you. Saw something surprising.
There are more out there.
This wasn't no rinky-dink pissing match.
What was it then?
Fubar.
Where you going? We need to get the fuck out of here.
Gotta check the rest.
What? Why?
Calm down and think about it, son.
Calm down? We gotta get out of here now!
Jesus Christ, get a hold of yourself.
What if someone's alive, Nick?
Who cares?
Because they might just be inclined to tell us who did this. We gotta do this now. Stay here. Keep searching these.
This is a dumb idea.
You know, Nick, I don't like this either. But sooner or later, you're gonna have to realize a simple truth.
What, that you're an asshole?
That nobody in this world is ever gonna give a goddamn whether you like something or not. You gotta grow up, son.
Whatever.
Come on, Clem. You want to be useful? Keep a lookout on that tree line. Whoever did this might still be out there, waiting for another sucker to stumble across this mess.
I'm on it.
You always so agreeable?
No.
Good. You'll fit right in with this outfit. Look, just keep your head on straight. Same deal. All shot to pieces. Hope this isn't anyone you know.
No.
Good.
Harpoon counts
More
as
on that
ammo.
side. You check out these ones. See if there's anything on them that'll tell us who they were.
So I don't have much commentary to talk about this. One of the things I was saying before, the tension between the daughter and the doctor is something that interests me, because obviously the daughter is a very likable character, and chances are you've committed to a friendship with her. Then there was another one that interested me. In terms of Rebecca, I didn't want to give her a reason to push harder for me to get kicked. So the biggest thing, I think the biggest thing here is that right now she has her doubts, right? There's whatever she says, anything that she has to say is just her gut about thinking I'm one of Carver's people. Whereas if I give her a reason, if I say I know that she's not been faithful to her husband, then that's going to give her a motivation to want me to be out of the group. What else? I am just generally disinclined to let people who have behaved. So this is one of the big things for me, is that I dislike it when people start being friendly or start being nice when things are good. I think there is something to be said for seeing how people behave in extreme situations. And in some cases, I don't know if you can really tell. There are some things you can tell about people, but obviously, I mean, like the Darkest Dungeon is built entirely on how people react when they're at the breaking point. But I think there is something to be said, right? If you are in a survival situation, a little girl comes asking for help, and your decision is to throw her into a shed and almost shoot her, that definitely says something about your character, and it usually isn't something good. So I'm not inclined to let those people off the hook because it turned out okay, because it's just as likely. Interesting.
What happened to you? You were in the woods with Krista. The woman I was with. What happened to her? Please, tell me. Tell me.
Please.
Pete! I'm fine. I'm fine.
A dog just bit me.
Just lost my footing. Damn it. God damn it. Lurkers! I'm out of ammo.
Come this way.
Bitch. Damn it! You get your asses over here, both of
I'll
you!
cover you. We gotta get out of here.
Get over here, goddammit! Come on! Come on! Jesus! Fuck!
You're using the gun wrong!
We have to go.
Yeah, I was meaning to try and answer that. That's the end?
What are you gonna do? Someone's outside.
I don't think I do well, Isaacson.
Someone came here looking for you. A man.
What? Did he say what his name was?
We know damn well who it was.
We'll do some discussion after the preview.
Guys we were with before.
What's he gonna do?
can't keep going.
I figure we got about 5 more days.
I
until
don't see
showtime.
Pete in any of
We
these
ain't here to rob
cutscenes.
nobody. Just relax and put the gun down, man.
I thought you were dead.
See, I bet that's an expectation that that's going to be Krista, but I don't think it is. Did you try and save Krista? You and 58% of players stopped to help. Did you kill the dog? You and 52.5% of players killed the dog. Or alternatively, 47.5% of players decided to let the thing suffer. Did you accept Nick's apology? Me and 48.9% of players did not accept Nick's apology. I'm assuming here the natural inclination of people is to always be nice. Did you give water to the dying man? You and 43.2% of players gave water to the dying man. That is interesting. And did you save Nick or Pete? You and 59.6% of players went with Pete. I will just say we're not going to do another episode because I'm already overtime tonight. I will just quickly mention, though, this is less... maybe just more of a reminder because I know we're on a good roll with these things. I have been doing these streams for basically a special cause. The Eyes of Sin in chat had her clothes stolen earlier on. And I've been doing, basically this is the end of the first week of special casts that I put together to basically try and do a little bit of fundraising to make things better. I had my own experience with a mugging, and they took a very significant amount of money from me at the time. And what the result of that was, I didn't really tell anybody about the money, but word had gotten around, and people sort of contributed small amounts. And there were two things that came out of that. Number one, it does turn out that when a large number of people give small amounts, it adds up, and it makes things less terrible than they could be. But in addition to the monetary value, the mere fact that people took the time, the fact that people cared enough to give something, really felt great. And I do want to encourage a kind of community and a kind of culture in which we recognize that, misfortune can happen to anyone. And that, by virtue of the fact that, it wasn't me, I can turn what would be, I'm lucky it didn't happen to me, into something where it's basically just, there's a small inconvenience, a price of a cup of coffee or whatever. People have actually been surprisingly generous in terms of what they've given so far. So with that in mind, I've been trying not to push too hard in terms of donations. But that is the reason why I have been doing these streams. Obviously, I normally cast only 3 times a week. And I don't know, I would like it to, even though it's somebody who's online, and I mean, I've not personally met the Eyes of Sin, but it just seems to me that if we can spread, an intense impact on one individual, and if we can spread that out to a series of small inconveniences for people in small dollar amounts, then one, these things tend to build themselves up. The more we do to build communities like this, the more we tend to support each other. Then the next time something like that happens, again, we can turn it into a series of small inconveniences rather than something really impactful on an individual. And then, of course, more importantly, too, it is somebody who I know. It's somebody who's made my cast better. So as always, everybody's circumstances are different, and maybe not everybody will think that that's a worthwhile cause. But if you do !cause, you'll see a blog post that I wrote about why I think that's a good idea and what I'm trying to achieve with the broadcast. And I would encourage you, this will actually be the first cast where we would not have had a donation made, so far as I've been told anyway, in terms of the donation accounts. I haven't seen any alerts for it yet. So again, the purpose is not to lecture. The purpose is not to coerce people into doing an action that they wouldn't. But I would love it if you guys would consider to, if you haven't already, to even give a small token amount, even $1 or that. Because I know even if it came down to it, I usually average about 10 or 12 a cast. If everybody were to give $1 for each cast that I gave over the end of them. Crazy the Gamer, 567th of their name. Thank you so much for that follow. Yeah, I would just, again, even $1 is one of these things that everybody says. But if you think about it, right, if it were to be everyone of that over the 10 days of cast that I had in mind, that would actually be a very substantial amount by the end for what is effectively a very, in my case at least, would be a small amount. But like I said, everybody's circumstances are different, and I completely understand there might be other causes you think are worthwhile. We just got off of Black Friday. Christmas is coming up. People are going to be wanting to be buying some things for their friends and family. There are just as many reasons not to do so as to do so. But these were ultimately the reasons for me doing these casts. I love it that people are stopping by and having a good time. But as is the case, I guess the only condition on this is that occasionally, every once in a while, you need to listen to me talk about the reason why I'm doing that. So as long as we can reach a common ground on that, I'd be very happy. As I said, all of that said, there are many great charities that, I also listed the great charities in my blog post, so I've covered those bases. But so I promised you guys that we were going to talk a little bit about zombie apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse, a zombie apocalypse. Zombie apocalypse. Anyway, so Eyes of Sin started the discussion. I wonder how I would fare in a zombie apocalypse. Beta Zion says same here as well. TrippyTube thinks they wouldn't make it a day. Beta Zion personally think they'll make it rather far. Just depends on other people. That's the true wild card. And Sin turns it on me and says, how do I think I'd fare? So the challenge that I have is that my particular set of skills is very reliant on a lot of modern infrastructure, right? So I can do research, I can read things, I can get information, I know where to look for information, I'm decent at finding things on Google. Obviously in my very narrow field of specialization, I know how to, I know how to run a regression or something like that. But a lot of these are clearly augmented by technology, right? I'm not going to be very good with statistics if I don't have a computer in front of me, because very few times I've ever had the need to hand derive a regression. And I'm not entirely sure, when we're all trying to survive, anybody is going to want me to do by hand, regressions on however many observations. So those are out of the way. But with that in mind, right, there's definitely there's logic, there's reason, and so on and so forth. Now, in terms of practical survival skills, I mean, I did do a hunting course, so I'm sure there's a few things of the core course that I could recall. I do think what gets revealed in some of these stories are how people handle these kinds of situations. So insofar as somebody would feel an ethic and a character, this is one of these things that people aren't supposed to say about themselves, but I really do try and live myself. I try and live a life where if I say something, I mean it and it happens. That if I make a promise, it's one that I intend to keep. And I do, if you look around, there's going to be no shortage of people who tell you otherwise. But, I do my best in a given situation to do what I think is the right thing. And often in cases where the cost for doing so is very high, or, when there's great uncertainty. And I think I have a few ideas about where that came from for me, but they're parts of me that I think are very important. Now, there's a question, and I think it's a question that's sometimes explored in these games, as to whether or not that's actually a desirable trait to have somebody inside of a group. So I suppose I would leave that to the audience as to whether or not they would consider those to be essential, they would consider those to be essential qualities in a survival party. The only hope I could see, so I think you know, when people talk, it depends on the group. And as I think more so than you can imagine, I don't think any individual would do particularly well in this environment. And I think historically, right, our survival is probably dependent on our ability to, you know, to work together. The only real hope I think I would have is that I would be able to learn what other people would have to share. But look, I mean, I'm under no illusions. Like, if food were to become scarce, or, you know, there were to be some kind of a system in place where only the strong survive, or only people who contribute are, you know, are given what they need, I'm quite certain I would be quick for exile or execution or whatever the story is. It's, you know, it's just my skill set is definitely one that is designed for the modern world. I mean, if I found myself in the Middle Ages, or, you know, or anywhere really, like, I'm not entirely sure that anybody would have any use for me except as, you know, the lowest of slaves. So I just, you know, I've built myself for a world in which, you know, a graduate degree matters. And I think one in which so this is the thing about the zombie apocalypse scenario too, right? Is that generally the assumption is that the thing is so catastrophic that the world as we know it is over, and that we're effectively back to kind of like an Ark or like Minecraft kind of a world where we have to rebuild everything. But I think that's the other thing too. Like, I think there is something, so like, there's nothing inherent in, you know, a character like Clementine, right? The sweet little girl. There's nothing that you would say is like a pure survival trait either, you know, beyond the fact that people maybe naturally want to help her. I think probably what is interesting in these kinds of stories are that the people who you don't expect go through. I mean, I think there's really rich material that in like a total catastrophe, that maybe it's the tinfoiled hat wearing paranoids who happen to inherit the earth because they just, you know, they're the ones who built a bunker in their backyard, and it just so happens that they were prepared when the catastrophe struck when nobody else did. But I think this is just it. It's, you know, you never quite know how you will behave when things really do turn into a crisis. And people will surprise you on both sides. People who should be of better character, you know, reveal themselves to crack under the pressure. And in some cases there are psychological reasons for that. In other cases, it's just their commitment to an ideal is not enough to, you know, to sacrifice something. And in some cases, this is sensible. I mean, Galileo, right, was somebody who clearly pursued the truth, but not to a point where he wanted to become a martyr in the name of a heliocentric view of the world. And then, you know, people who you wouldn't expect much out of could be the one who, you know, runs back and, you know, and saves the person from the burning building or whatever. So let's see what Chad has to say. Isofsin says you have some pretty solid basic first aid skills. You have experience in using outdated forms of navigation. Your grandfather and you would travel with the help of a map. You can swim, run, climb all right, though you're a bit clumsy. You're not great with people. Oh, come on, Sin. You are very good with people. And you think you'd want to try and help, but perhaps not always during a time that you should. You'd be squeamish to shoot someone when you really would need to. See, this is the funny thing too, is that, I mean, obviously these are, you know, are dramas, right? So you have to have a lot of these decisions in terms of people shooting each other and whatnot. I think sometimes they do go a little too quickly to banditry and things like that. I think really what should be happening on these is like, you know, it's when things get down to the wire and there's like no more supplies left, that's when people start turning on each other. But, you know, you need to get the plot moving. So sometimes I think they sometimes do the descent into anarchy a little bit too quickly. But I also think too, like we, for a very long period in human history now, have sort of outsourced the killing jobs to, to other people, whether they are mercenaries or standing armies. Again, the historical experience of combat has usually been that of a civilian, not as a soldier. And I think you'd probably have to look back to like really tribal kind of things where you have, and I mean, even in certain tribes, you have a class of warriors and then you have people dedicated to other tasks. So I'm not entirely sure one of the prerequisites to surviving the zombie apocalypse is, is everybody needs to be willing to take a human life. And more importantly too, like there's a side to me that says that, if it's going to basically be this Hobbesian, nightmare where, you need to be ready to blow some guy away at any given moment, and everybody's just ready, looking out for number one. Like there's a certain side to me where I'm like, well, what exactly is worth fighting for anymore? Like, obviously there's a natural will to survive, but I think my conception of the type of life that I would like to live and the world in which I live in is in one of community, one of individual. I mean, for God's sake, I'm doing a fundraiser like this for somebody else. So yeah, I think sometimes these stories are a little too quick to abandon the idea of community. And I understand why. Like it's a good source of drama, and it's one of these sort of thought experiments where you can work with things. But I also tend to notice, like, the way people play these games, people really seem to be ready to say, nope, it's survival. It's always survival. It's like number one on that. And all I can say is that, through a harsh natural process like natural selection, we still emerged as a species that had community, built cities, built great wonders, had art, developed language. And I just think moving back to this sort of primal stage is something that is ultimately not conducive to survival. So there's my optimistic view on a zombie apocalypse. Eyes of Sin also said, I personally would want you in the survival group. You are rational, logical. You consider you a good friend, and thus would be rather productive, admittedly. Oh, that's sweet of you, Eyes of Sin. And, I mean, we need to repopulate the world. You, Jess, some other fine specimens of women. We'll get those population numbers back up. Sorry. Beta Zion. Well, true, there are always other charities to contribute to, but the importance is to support those in the community. After all, community is core to us, and when one suffers in the community suffers. Humanity is... Yeah, so Beta Zion's kind of got the idea. And again, the key here is more... I really do stress the idea of insurance. It's that I found out, purely at random, that when I was mugged, there was a social network that had a little bit of a safety net, contributed to my well-being, and the value to me was more than just the money. It was the fact that I knew people cared. And so ultimately that is why I did these, and why I would really feel great if there was at least one donation tonight towards the cause. Again, I don't want to be naggy on it. But everybody has been so generous so far up to this point, and I would love it if we can finish out the night with at least saying that we did one every day. Eyes of Sin says you have anxiety disorder that would probably kill you in the end. I mean, so I'll be honest with you. Like, I think most zombie apocalypse scenarios are built with the idea that humanity is extinct in the end. Like the simple idea that the population of zombies is constantly increasing as humanity dies out. It just seems to be one which is ultimately, it ends in an extinction event. I don't see how the numbers work any other way. If you have this idea that eventually, the zombies kind of starve out, I can maybe see, a pack of survivors in a remote area possibly going through. But I think most zombie apocalypse scenarios are effectively ones where it's, humanity is overcome and there's really no way around it. Beta Zaya says you'd be the guy that's willing to shoot someone If they were causing an imbalance within the group, or in the zombie thing, you would shoot to kill an individual that gets infected. Eyes of Sin says, my grandfather's side of the family have a lot of tinfoil hat paranoid doomsday preppers, although your grandfather is not quite that extreme. He taught me a lot of skills that would normally be outdated. I think those are useful ones to have for several reasons. Like, you know, in Canada, there's great scenic beauty. I mean, there's going hiking or something like that, going camping. These are all very worthwhile pastimes, but the fact of the matter is nobody expects to get lost, right? If you find a way to keep dry, keep warm, keep safe, animals don't eat you, you identify ways to have rescue services identify you. You know what happens to your body when you get low on food and water, and how the thinking that you do when you're cold and hungry is very different from the kind of thinking you have when you're calm and rested. These are things that I think are timeless. Like, I would never wish somebody to need them, and yet I think they are very helpful things to have just in general. Even too, like, just knowing how you react in certain scenarios is, I think, an important skill to have. Although, admittedly, I'm quite bad at this, so... Eyes of Sin is okay with this. Anthro student for the win. But yes, and you're going to be needed if that scenario. Beta Sign's more than welcome to join the survival group. We have too much space. No, yeah. Okay, guys. I think I'm going to go to bed without the donation. But that's fine. We'll run the credits if they go by. And I'm going to say we're going to find somebody to host. Eyes of Sin says, I can grow food from seeds. You can use a map. Hell, you spent a bit of time, albeit a short amount of time, camping out in the woods, essentially homeless. Oh my god. You know what it's like to be cold, hungry, tired, and scared. You react well to trauma, but it's during the calm times that would kill you. You're anxiety prone. I would make sure to make you calm you down.
You feel that you should run. Where are you to hide in the water? Oh, against the tide, you struggle. The skin wearing, against the tide, we struggle to keep our heads above the deep. Our hearts above the light, above the light. We vow your life and blood. This is not our home in the water. Oh, yeah, our hope here's never found. Just try and keep your way in the water. Oh, against the tide we struggle. The skin wearing, against the tide we struggle to keep our heads above the deep, and our hearts above the light, above the light. Who we are today can never make amends for what we've done. Tainted blood. And his eyes are full of love. Forgive them, release them. Against the tide we struggle, the skin wearing, against the tide we struggle to
Have a great night, Betazan.
Our heads above the deep, no hearts above the line, above the line.
Okay, let's find somebody to host tonight. We have got... Who's online? Oh, there's a lot of people online. Okay. Thank you to the person who whispered. That makes me feel a lot better. I will be going offline in a quick minute so we can keep chatting. You know what? I really want to host Johnny big time. Johnny is a fantastic caster. I don't think he's done a Telltale game, but he just did. First of all, he's the one who gave me Super Hot, which was the game we played at the beginning of the cast. Johnny is a fantastic caster. He's been playing a lot of Fortnite recently, but he's got a line for everything. He is a really nice person, and he's one of the casters who, like, I'm most comfortable hosting him because I've never seen him do a bad cast. So I would love it if you guys can come along with the raid. I'm going to use the Twitch raid command, but our usual raid messages, we're tired of System Talk, heard this place was better. I do strongly recommend you hang out. I know it's not a Telltale game. I know a lot of people do love these games specifically for the stories. But if you're open to new things, honestly, Johnny is the guy to beat. I swear, if he wants to, he is going to be a partnered caster who can make a living doing this if there is any justice on this platform. So I'd love it if you guys can come along with a big host. Obviously, that does help me as well. If I can be a member who, you know, doesn't just idly host, but encourages people to come in and participate. But honestly, as long as you value your entertainment, you are doing yourself a favor of checking out Mr. Big Time. I'm gonna have a good time there. I will watch as long as I can, and I don't know, I'll stop streaming and just have some fun for a bit. So thanks for hanging out. We will see you over on Johnny's side.